This episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hey everybody, welcome into the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, our show about all things Marvel, where we're doing our Episode 2 Miss Marvel review. So I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming, and Turn-Based Carl. Yes, I just want to say before we move on, this is a spoiler-filled review episode, so if you have not watched Miss Marvel Episode 2 yet, please go to Disney Plus and watch that first, and then come back to enjoy our episode here. As we of course, we do a spoiler review. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this. So that is your spoiler warning. You have been forewarned. So yes, it's time to talk about Miss Marvel Episode 2, guys. So, Carl, I know you don't like this situation with her powers. And we get more of that in this episode, obviously, as she's starting to learn, as Kamala is starting to learn how to use some of these powers in a minimal sense. Kind of like this, it's weird. It looks like kind of a gelish type of substance that she can use to like climb onto the top of buildings and things like that. So what are your first thoughts? Because you weren't with Burley and I for the first episode. So what have you thought of this so far?
Well, in general, it's a really well-produced show.
Yeah.
Great talent. The lead, what's her name? Iman Vellani.
Yes.
She's fantastic.
Yes.
You know, she just has so much charm and personality, and she just steals the show. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her in the Marvels with with Brie Larson.
She's going to be great. You know, interesting to think about the other movies, like America Chavez. Like, I would have liked to have stood out anywhere near as much as this girl stands out in like the one episode, and then of course now in the second one.
Yeah.
The mother, I think, is also really good, but I mean, everyone is. I think I guess her friend, he's okay, he's fine.
Her high school friend too in this image here. I really like her as well too. She's really smart.
Nakia's great,
she's really smart, and she's got a good career ahead of her, I think. So
yeah, and these are all characters from the comics. From what I've read, I read like the first initial run, and even that Kamran character shows up too. He's in the comics, although spoiler, I guess, you know, we're talking spoilers, but
yes.
And it doesn't matter, but in the comics he was an Inhuman. So
okay. Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but it looks like they're tying something, because the weird visions she was getting, and it was like his mom or something, right?
No, I think in the episode it was her grandmother.
It was, but then
her great grandmother, maybe, because or maybe a grandmother, because I know the mother was talking about it later in the episode, that it's like it's something you shouldn't be talking about because it was referring to what was going on in that time in history in Pakistan. So
yeah.
But
yeah. So, and they name the powers in this. Like, see, that's the thing. Okay, my criticism. Like, I think everything was really good. I had a few nitpicks, but like those weren't enough to make me dislike the show. I think the show was really well done, great.
Yeah.
But the powers thing, I still hate, and it's hard for me to get past, because I think in the first episode I thought they looked kind of crappy. I didn't really like what they did with it. More you see in the second episode, and it looks fine. It's a neat effect.
Yeah.
They call it hard light in this episode.
Hard light.
Yeah. And when they said that, and when she was like, "Oh, it's like my thought come to life," I'm like, "You made her Green Lantern." Like, there's there's no denying that you did that. Yeah. Sorry, like, don't say it isn't.
Burley, what were your thoughts?
The whole hard light being called hard light in this power, because here's the thing. From what I know of her powers, from what little I have read of the character, she just had stretchy. I didn't know Like, I don't know if this is a comic thing where she can make things.
No, it's not in the comics.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So it's like, I kind of don't like that they're just changing and giving her a new power set. Like, I know if you can't do the stretchy power stuff, then don't do the character.
Now, I have a question for you guys. On this. Now, if she does not wear the bangle, can she still use these powers? Or is it all emanating from that bangle that she has on her wrist?
Well, we can get into that because this in the episode, they do say that, Bruno using his like magic nonsense tech, which is
nonsense tech. I mean, he's an aspiring
he's got Stark tech, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. He's an aspiring young, developer.
Yeah, which is one of my nitpicks. But again, like, I get it. It's not terrible. It's just one of my nitpicks. It's like his like techiness and like creating, all these interesting weird things that I don't really love that, but whatever.
Yeah, and later in the episode, he's got a dilemma because he's got to make a choice whether he wants to stay, right, because he's getting jealous of Kamala and the new guy, so to speak, and the thing about him going to Caltech, I think it is, or out to California for university. But go ahead, Carl. You were saying.
So somehow he's able to discern that like the powers are coming from you, So like the bracelet activated something in her, which
maybe,
but what we don't know is if she takes it off, what happens, because that hasn't happened. And for some reason, she hasn't really made a strong effort yet. Like, this time has passed and she's like, I'm just going to wear this for the rest of my life, I guess. I'm not even going to really try to get it off.
So maybe it's, the bangle was, to produce the power which infiltrated her body, maybe kind of like with Carol Danvers, of course, the tech from the Power Stone as well, from the energy, discharge from the jet. And then, of course, with Rambo in, of course, the WandaVision, of course, walking through those, the streams there, getting through that, of course, infiltrating her body. Thing, yes, right. The hex, infiltrating her body. So obviously, they're probably, trying to make it seem the same, where putting that bangle on was what made the power emanate and then transfer into her body. So,
I don't see a link, but whatever.
I think it just awakens something in her, and it's just going to be the same thing like they say with Thor with his hammer. Mm-hmm. It's not really the hammer. It was just this was just used to awaken and you use it as a conduit through it.
But Thor always had like power anyway. So okay. So someone in a Discord that I'm on mentioned something that I'm like, that's awesome, and I hope that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Is that she's supposed to be an Inhuman, right?
Yeah.
Inhumans' powers are activated through Terrigenesis, which requires a Terrigen crystal. So if there's, let's say, a Terrigen crystal in this bangle, this
maybe
bracelet, and maybe by wearing it and her being an Inhuman, it is activating her Inhuman abilities, and maybe if she takes it off, it no longer activates them. Like, that would be interesting. And then maybe she can be later, if they want to introduce, go deeper into the Inhuman stuff, then they can actually have her undergo Terrigenesis, and then maybe she'll get the normal regular powers from the comics. That would be awesome. I would hope that we can get to that, because it's like bittersweet that the show is so good, and I'm so annoyed that the powers are something completely different. And I was actually a little insulted by stuff they said in this episode, because there's a part where she's like, I tested my powers. She's like, yep, I don't have super strength. I don't have Ant-Man powers. And I'm like, yeah, but you do in the comics. That pisses me off. Like, in the comics, she does have super strength when she can get big, and she can be really strong. She can shrink down small. She can grow to a giant size. It's not cool that you put that in the show and pointed that out. That,
well, maybe that's how things are now. Maybe they will surprise us later. Maybe towards the end of the season, we shall.
Yeah, like I said, I hope that there's a chance that they could they could do that.
Yeah, obviously, maybe this is just the beginning, and she's just fine. She's just starting to realize. Well, it was kind of funny in the episode, like as she was, using these blocks to kind of try to walk up walls and things like that. There's that one scene. You think she's, Bruno's like holding her, and she's like, "You gotta let go, you gotta let go." And you think that if Bruno lets her go, she's gonna fall all the way down to her death, and it's just like 2 feet.
Yeah,
It's that.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, I like the show, and it's
it's really good. Yeah,
I even love the stuff they're doing with the Pakistani Muslim culture. I like being introduced to these type of things because I don't know much about it.
yeah.
And from what I read, there's an article on IGN that's really good. They talked to someone who is a Pakistani Muslim and asked them about how accurate representation it is, and they said that it is very good. They really feel that this show makes them feel stuff that they felt they've been experienced in their life, and that's really great. I like the stuff they're doing with Nakia and having her she's like, yeah, I'm gonna run for whatever position board thing at her mosque. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is interesting. I'm enjoying this aspect, and I'm having to convince all these different groups, and just the fun of the way they talk about the groups and the names that they give them. And yeah, man, it's just a really well done show with great writing and good acting, and it's just those powers, man.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about the new guy? Obviously, in his car, and of course, gonna give Kamala some driving lessons and all and everything. Yeah. What did you think of him?
There's not too much to think of him, really. He is, I am guy with car.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little older here. Let's just go out here and blow off some steam after school. And then they go to a diner.
Yeah, so Kamala and Kamran go to the diner there. Yeah, where of course the brother and his fiance see them. Obviously, they have to be there at that particular time and come in to say hi and everything. But,
Burley, you didn't find him sexy? Come on.
Well, obviously, yes, but I can't. I don't want to state everything like that on the show. I think some of it should be left a mystery.
Yeah. No, Carl, doesn't he have particular powers like in the comics as well? Kamran.
Well, yeah, like I said, in the comics, this is the guy, Kamran. He is an Inhuman. Mm-hmm. It is. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember a long time ago when I read those. How it sort of. I don't know if it plays out exactly the same way, but I think it is sort of similar. That he's you don't really know his intentions.
Yeah.
I like this a lot. I like the introduction of this character. I like the relationship forming and the too good to be true aspect of it. And then in the end, it's oh damn, there is something. There's something amiss,
Yeah.
That really works. I gotta mute this. Sorry, I don't know if you guys are hearing that.
That's okay. Yeah. Okay. I really, I really liked how she was falling for him during this episode, and they were playing, Be My Little Baby, and she's going up the stairs and all, she's all giddy and everything. And, that was a pretty cool scene, when she was back when Kamala was back at her house and all, but yeah, it's later on in the episode, of course, we see at the festival here, there's a kid that's sticking outside of the top of the the mosque, and he's about to fall down, and so Kamala's got to go and rescue him, but and it's weird how Kamala, of course, she puts on the Captain Marvel costume, of course, because she doesn't want people to see who she really is, but towards the end of the episode here, she's able to save the kid and to be able to start to use her abilities a little bit more. But of course the what was it? We were talking about this, Burley, from the was it the DODC? The agents there, they had come and they had found out where she was, but of course Kamran comes in the car and picks her up, and then we see the mother in the back, and the mother is the same person from those visions,
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, I think we don't see this here at the end of the episode, but I think she really wants the bangle.
Oh yeah.
So she's trying to get the bangle from her. And then I think maybe later on, I think Kamran is probably later on in this season. I think he's going to be the main villain. I don't know. That's just what I think, him and the mother. But anyway, I don't know.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on this? And when Carl comes back, he can respond as well. So what do you think?
My thoughts, they're the villains for the season. Yeah, they're wanting that bangle. Whether or not we're in next episode, we're gonna get the monologue and be like, this bangle can awaken this and do all this, and if you truly know what you're doing, you can do all this, and and the backstory and all that.
Yeah, I really hope that what's happening is that the great grandmother was an Inhuman also. Right? Like you keep implying that she disgraced the family somehow. We don't really know what that's going to be, and it might not be exactly that, but I would like, because I don't even know in the comics if they ever went into like a family lineage, because the Inhuman gene would have been passed down, so there would have been someone in her lineage that was also that had the gene, whether or not they had undergone teragenesis and gained their powers, which they don't have to.
Yeah, during that time of history, the partition of India, it's maybe something happened then. Yeah,
right. So it could be any number of other things, but I do hope that there is, like, maybe she also wore it and she had powers and did something with them, because they do imply, like, they really heavily imply actually when they ask, like, how did your great grandmother like get saved or whatever, something happened, right, in some story, and they're like, they tell some
what
nonsense.
happened to her, to her, basically.
But there was like that story he told like of like her being like, I don't know, was it lost or something, or like, and like something mysterious sort of happened, and I'm like, yeah, she may have used like powers, right, or something. Maybe she had the same powers using the same thing, and this woman or Kamran also is possibly like in the bloodline, so maybe he's also an Inhuman, but maybe just doesn't have powers activated yet, and like maybe the show will eventually go to that. That's what I really hope. Even though it's still a really good show, like I just want it to have that thing, the one thing from the comics, man, that like needs to be there, because that's, man, I'm so annoyed that they showed us Black Bolt. They imply that Inhumans exist in the multiverse. Like you can't, you got to do it. You just got to.
Well, they did a Inhuman show. They did Inhumans in the Agents of Shield, but it didn't take off because they were trying to market Inhumans as, this is our mutants, because we can't use mutants, and because of the way they're marketing and handling of it, nobody cared.
Yeah, well, the show was really bad. That's another thing.
Yeah, I never watched the show. I heard it was not good.
It's really bad. So if the show wasn't bad, maybe things would have been a little different on that front. But yeah, they were Marvel Comics, Marvel Entertainment as a whole was trying to push Inhumans for a time, and Miss Marvel was part of that.
Yeah,
she's the most successful aspect of that, because she was introduced when they had the whole Terrigen Mist happen and activated new Inhumans all over the world. And from that part in the story on, there was a whole bunch of new Inhumans, and that's why there was new Inhuman comics, and they were building up that whole aspect to make that more popular. And I read a bunch of those comics because I liked interesting, weird powers, and there was a lot of cool, interesting characters in there. So Miss Marvel being one of the coolest with her awesome, amazing, stretchy powers. But hey.
Yeah. We shall see. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So episode 3, of course, comes out on Wednesday, the same day as the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale, part 6. And then Obi-Wan's going to be an hour and a half long. So hopefully all of you out there
thing, if you don't mind. The one hook in this show that I'm like a little weird on, I don't know
Uh-huh.
where it's going, and like I'm not necessarily 100% buying it, is like the agents that are like going after her, the Department of Damage Control agents.
Yeah, damage control agents. Yeah, they went after the one high school, other high school girl, and of course, she, she
I'm a little
was.
uncertain that they're like, why are they so interested in getting her? I'm like, what has she done wrong? Like, we got to get this, powered individual. Like, what? I don't know the nature of like what they're really trying to do, like what their organization represents.
Well, I think when they interrogated this girl, from the high school, they were just trying to figure out where Kamala lives,
right?
Maybe and what area she hangs out in. So, yeah, but
I think they're more just trying to. They want to know because of after so many events, they just want to know every hero,
right?
Pretty much, and just so that way, when damage starts happening throughout the cities through these battles and stuff, they can link it to what hero where.
Yeah,
right. But they're playing it very like they're antagonists, and I'm like, but why? I don't really know why.
And they have that one actress, like, because she's been, I've seen her in some other shows where she is like FBI agent tracking people down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the guy, did you know he was in Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, Alicia Rayner, that's her name, the actress. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of our Miss Marvel reviews. So, our next episode will be coming up. Probably we're going to be doing, I think, episode 3 and 4 combined in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. And of course, we also have our Star Trek Strange New Worlds episodes and our, of course, Star Wars Republic show, our Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're going to be, of course, doing the final part 6 review this coming week. So stay tuned for that as well. They will be all, of course, be going up to our Patreon in early access. And then after Patreon, it'll be going to our YouTube channel at the Arena Productions. So please stay tuned for that. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burlerman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next episode of our Miss Marvel reviews on the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena. So take care, everyone. Peace out.